Welcome back to the Unshakable Soul podcast. We are on episode 91, and I have a beautiful guest with me today, Cassandra Henry, transformation coach, master NLP practitioner, and hypnotist. Didn't say that properly, but welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm excited for a conversation. It's probably going to be maybe a continuation on the conversation we had 2 days ago,
Hmm.
because the overall thematic we're really diving into is rewiring our subconscious, looking beneath the surface and really getting into the depths of what's actually been running our lives or ruining our lives, perhaps. So, thematics that will cover sabotaging patterns that we've inevitably taken on over the years and offering us this empowerment. Again, it's not all doom and gloom, but I trust where this conversation would go. But when we actually illuminate all the ways that our subconscious has been running and perhaps ruining our lives, there's also in that a very empowering moment where you realize you get to choose differently. So I'm excited to dive into all these thematics with you.
Me too. Me too.
And let's start off by sharing with our listeners a little bit about who you are. So, a little maybe the headlines of your own journey in this world of the subconscious territory.
Yes. So we'll take it back to when I was in my mother's womb. We won't go back to the very beginning. Um, I guess we'll keep it easy. I mean, I used to struggle with addiction, drugs, alcohol, not to the extent of full-blown, addiction, but if we're not comparing, whatever that addiction looked like for me, I struggled with depression, suicidal depression, anxiety for over 10 years. I was in toxic abusive relationship up until the past couple of years when I finally broke the cycles. I believe that God, universe gifted me all of these bright cycles to break so that I could know what it feels like to go through those experiences so that I could help other people break through them. It wasn't until I hit my last rock bottom in 2018 when I wanted to take my life and I sat in my office writing letters to my family, and in that moment I heard my intuition say, Cass, create a vision board. And I was like, what is a vision board? And I was led to go to my office desk and I grabbed a piece of paper and some markers and pens and I drew out whatever my intuition said. And it drew a picture of a husband and a wife and three kids and a house with a pool. And it said that I was going to be an empowering leader to curious and growing minds. And that I'd also lead a team with my organizing business. And I was going to be a leader and an not in an influencer, but like I would speak on stages and I would be able to make $20,000 a month consistently and go on vacation all of these times. And I'm just like, what is this? This can't be for me. What do you mean? I'm super depressed. I can't even see. I don't even want to like leave my house. What do you mean I'm gonna have all these things? It was very confusing to me, but I trusted. A month later, after that, I decided to go to Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within in New York City. And when I was there, I uncovered a belief that was running the show. And this belief was that I believed that everything that bad that happened in my family's life, from addiction to bankruptcy, having to move, divorce, all of that stuff, I believed that it was my fault because my dad said that the day I was born, he started doing drugs and alcohol again. And I don't believe that he did that to hurt me, but I did take that in as a little girl that, wow, if if the day I was born, everything changed in our life, it must be my fault. And so once I uncovered that and I realized that belief was absolute bullshit because that was not my fault, everyone operates at their own free will, my depression was gone. And it took me time. That's when I started my personal development journey in 2018. I started going to seminars, reading the books, binging the podcasts, and I started to really get to know myself. And I thought, oh, like now I'm healed. So surely when I met someone in 2019, I'm like, oh my gosh, it's fate. This is amazing. We're meant to be. I want to urge everybody not to ever put soulmate attached to a label, especially when you first meet each other, if you are susceptible to toxic relationships, because it's a trap. And I just advise against not putting such big labels on something when you don't know yet. I'll just say that. Anyways, I stayed with this person for 5 years and I fully abandoned myself in the name of love. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to be accepted. I didn't want to make the wrong choice by leaving, but I knew that it was slowly killing me. And I knew that if I didn't get out, then I would just become a shell of myself. And I already was. I was in isolation. I barely talked to friends, family. I almost stopped doing my business altogether. I wouldn't have worn red nail polish and lipstick and dressed the way that I wanted. And I decided one day that enough was enough. But I knew that I couldn't do it on my own. And I also knew that leaning on friends and family wasn't exactly the kind of support that I really wanted. I wanted support from within. And because I didn't want to have to rely on other people to help me have the strength to move forward. Because I knew that I had that access accessible within me, but it just was kind of far from me at that time. So I looked up to God, the source, universe. I'm like, I don't know what you are. I don't know who you are, but just please guide me through this time. I need your help. And I decided in that moment that I would commit my life to a state of surrender, just let go, to let in. And I've practiced that ever since. That was in 2024. And I did a full year of surrender experiment. Whatever my intuition said to do, I did it. And that's led me down the most profound, amazing, beautiful journey that I could have ever hoped and wished for. And it's just getting better from here. I don't experience those dark thoughts anymore because I've programmed my brain and my nervous system to see the good in everything. Every storm I know is an opportunity that's preparing me for the next opportunity that I'm asking for. So I know that if there's something that is not going the way that I planned, because it's not, then it's not my plan, then it's not meant for me. And everything is preparing me to give me or bring me to become the version of me that is asking for the things that I want. So it's been a big, beautiful journey, and I wouldn't change any of it.
Yeah, beautiful. I love it. And I see a lot of common threads, and I'm sure a lot of women can identify and resonate with your story. The the awakening through the heartbreak or relationship fallout, which at its core is a reorientation back to yourself. And thus
Hmm.
begins the journey to rediscover, well, who is Cass? So that's beautiful. And it sounds as though you dove into many different modalities such as hypnosis, NLP, and Tony Robbins, so various inspirational speakers, let's put it out there, or just thought leaders. What drew you specifically? It sounds as though it's very much like the mindset and
Yeah.
working with the mind.
When I went to Tony Robbins and he led us through something called the Dickens process. And I've been now to Tony Robbins 3 times and I've done it virtually. So 4 times in the last X amount of years. It's that good. Because I know every time that I do the Dickens process, I uncover a deep rooted, unconscious, limiting belief that I have about myself or the life or the world around me. I knew that taking action was not enough, that I needed to uncover the beliefs that were in my unconscious mind. And no amount of motivational books or, try harder, work harder, be more disciplined was going to override those unconscious beliefs. So when I went through that process in Tony Robbins, I was like, "Oh my God, this is life-changing. I don't need to spend 20 years in therapy talking about my problems. I just need to do the Dickens process. I just need to do the uncovering of what the limiting beliefs are and move on with my life." And so that's what brought me to NLP. And once I learned the foundations of how to lead people through the same process that Tony led us through in a group of whatever, 12, 20,000 people, however many people were there. I know that's big, big number difference. Doesn't really matter. I knew that the thing that I learned there, it changed my life on such a profound level that I was committing my life to learning how to do that for others. And so it's like no other. And when I work with my clients on that level, they say it's better than therapy only because they go through it so fast and they feel the change so fast without actually having to talk about it. And then that's what led me to hypnosis as well, because I'm like, oh my gosh, if we can just set the conscious mind to the side and speak directly into the unconscious mind and access a state of change that fast, why is not everybody doing this? So I'm on a mission. You can feel the fire coming from my side. I'm holding the torch and I'm like, let's go. Because I know what it feels like to suffer. I know what it feels like to suffer.
Yeah.
And so many people are suffering, especially those that are empaths and have ADHD like myself, and we feel so things so deeply,
Mm.
but there's such a gift in it. It's just helping people see that and help them uncover their purpose and their gifts in that.
Yeah, and it's beautiful to have that fire, and I definitely feel that too in myself. To want to be that, I call it the lighthouse for people, that have forgotten basically their power and the gifts that they house to create a new reality for themselves. But then you've probably felt this too. There comes a moment when you realize, oh, there's actually deep safety that comes with being the victim, with holding on to your fears like a blanket,
Hmm.
holding on to the toxic relationship like a blanket. Because I don't actually want to know myself, because that will mean that I'm seen in my fullness. And what the fuck is my fullness? I actually am not familiar with that. So that's what
Hmm.
I realized along the way as well. It was this, whoa, yeah, because the initial thing is like, why isn't everybody being hypnotized and clearing all the shit out at the root? And then the more you observe your own self, your own journey, probably for you too, and other women and men that come in your space, the more it's like, oh, there's safety in the known, even if the known is not supporting me anymore.
Hmm.
Fuck
Yeah.
me. So let's go into what you have seen as perhaps a pattern in what would be that resistance. Why would somebody not want to be hypnotized and said, here's the magic wand, magic. Like basically you follow this and you'll have inner freedom.
Yeah. Well, I say that hypnosis, if you don't do the clearing out of it first through timeline therapy, things like that, that I do with people, you're just putting sparkles on trash. You're
Mm.
just putting sprinkles on trash. You got to clear out the stuff that's in there. And for a lot of people, I would say the majority of the people on the planet feel like they are not good enough. It's this deep rooted fear of not being good enough. And if you're not good enough, then you may not be loved. And if you're not loved, then how do you survive? And so people are afraid of putting themselves out there, of setting boundaries, of saying yes, of saying no, of really going for it, because what if they fail? And what if failing means that it's supporting this deep rooted belief that they're not enough? And if they're not enough, then they won't be loved. And if they're not loved, they will die. And all of this is happening on an unconscious level. People say, Cass, I know what to do. Why am I not doing it? Because you're afraid. You might not know who you are. You might have never met yourself before, and it doesn't even matter what age you are. Because if you were young and you were maybe I always use this example. Let's say you run into your mom's office and you're like, Mom, look at this picture that I drew. And your mom's in the middle of a call. Maybe she's on the phone with the bank and she's having a really stressful time. She's like, get out. I'm on the phone. She's going through her own thing, but you create a meaning in that moment that you're not enough and your mom doesn't love you. You go to collect evidence for your entire life to support that to be true. So, what we do is through timeline therapy, quantum time technique, we go back and we hover over that initial event that we ever felt that first feeling of fear, sadness, anger, guilt, shame, resentment. We hover over it and we see this situation for what it actually is. It wasn't that my mom didn't love me. She was on the phone. It had nothing to do with me. And all of a sudden, That emotional charge is gone from your body, not just from them, but from every event between through the power of the gestalt. It's almost like if you hit one domino, it hits all the others. It clears it out. People have said that they felt a sense of peace and freedom in the body that they've never felt before. It's a simple reframe. You see things for what they actually were, and even as you see them for what you think they are, you don't actually know what they were. We're just meaning making machines. So if you have the opportunity to make a better meaning about a situation, why wouldn't you if it's going to bring you peace and freedom? So we're afraid.
Yeah, and this is the where we bridge the gap, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's yes, the relief after the awareness, like, oh my gosh, it wasn't me. Hey. So yes, there's that, whoa, space is created there. But then if it's only stops at awareness, then that could even create more anxiety. This is what I
Mm-hmm.
realized because
Mm-hmm.
there hasn't been transformation yet. There's just been awareness. But that's even worse now. I'm aware of the pattern of
Yeah.
my coping mechanism, of the way I've been keeping myself safe from what I truly desire. But nothing's changing because my body still doesn't trust me. It doesn't feel safe. So it believes it needs the coping mechanism, whatever that is, in order to, as you mentioned many times, survive.
Mm-hmm.
So, where is it that you see in your work that you're bridging the gap between this, yes, the self awareness, this cognitive awareness, and the embodied transformation?
The awareness is everything and paying attention to the internal dialogue. So I teach this thing called uncovering your strategy, and all practitioners know it. Um, People think you change the behavior or you change the circumstance in your life. So many people are trying to make everything so perfect, control other people, control situations and circumstances, and then I will feel safe and secure. No. If only I could be more disciplined and get up earlier and do my workouts and I will be skinnier or healthier or whatever it is, I'll make more money. Sure, maybe, but if you find yourself continuously doing numbing out behaviors or sabotaging yourself, there's something deeper. So, on a very surface level, to become aware of your internal thoughts is everything. Because when you can change a story in your head, that's when you change the awareness into actually changing what it means. So oftentimes when I'm working with my clients, I'm like, what is your homework for this week? They're like, okay, to be aware. And as soon as I'm aware of it, I create a reframe, I create a change, I change the story. So if you're sitting there and maybe you even did the numbing out behavior, maybe you even had the glass of alcohol if that's what you choose, or you scrolled on your phone, or you did whatever, you bought the thing on the internet. Sit back and say, what was I feeling just before I did the behavior? Okay. Stressed, overwhelmed, scattered. Okay, what did I say to myself that caused me to feel that way? I literally said, oh my gosh, I can't handle it. This is too much. Oh, okay. So my internal dialogue is literally telling me to feel a certain way, and the emotion is telling me to do a behavior. If we can then backtrack and change the internal dialogue, we then feel a different emotion, then we therefore do a different behavior. Underneath all of that is a belief that you hold about yourself that you're not worthy and you're not enough or you're not capable. It's a beautiful when you start to recognize the voice in your head and consciously change it, and then you feel the shift right away. It will feel strange in a way because it's like, wow. That was actually very easy, and I didn't have to force myself. There was no willpower or anything. I just changed what I said to myself, and now everything changed.
I love this. And I can see how, yes, rewiring your narrative. So the story you tell yourself about said situation is so powerful. I'm going to come in with the other side of the coin, which is the embodiment piece. Because
Mm-hmm.
I've been there. I've, done the mindset work or the story. I've identified things and I'm very analytical over, I would say,
You're very
there's
organized.
to a various degree of like, oh my gosh, But my threshold and where I noticed the juice really lie for me was my body.
Mm-hmm.
And I speak a lot to women that are empathetic and highly sensitive. I know you do too. And I know we both are highly intuitive and sensitive women. And inevitably, there's so much energy that is confused, or not confused, but like there's so much energy that we take on from our thoughts, from our emotions that are some are ours, some are not ours. And then the confusion sets in and then the overwhelm. And then we are not able to hold any of this for the most part. So we shoot up to our minds to analyze the situation. And this is where I saw, there's something here.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So in those moments, in your example, I would be like, yeah, we can go up and look at the story and kind of rewind, and or we can go down and in. And that's where I've seen, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this and your experience, is like allow yourself to feel
Mm-hmm.
in a safe space, of course.
Yes.
Whatever is coming, is it anxiety? Is it anger? So this is more the tantric alchemy,
Yeah.
where you're not trying to analyze your emotions or even backtrack to the root in your mind. You're allowing whatever is arising to move through you and out, which, of course, also, if it's done intentionally, will also create that spaciousness. So there's those two currents bringing it up. Okay, the awareness. Aha, different perspective now. And then coming back in the body and the grassroots up of like, let me feel this anxiety moving through my body. Let me shake it. Let me sound it. Let me give it life and breath.
Yeah.
Right. But
Yeah.
I'm still witnessing it because some people get enmeshed in their emotions.
Yep.
Right. And then let me release it. Not forcefully, but lovingly. Because
Yeah.
for me, anyways, this really, really brought me into my heart. It wasn't the mind.
No.
I wasn't in my heart, in my mind. I was analyzing, and then I was shaming myself. Why the fuck did you eat another pot of Nutella? So
I love how it goes back to the Nutella.
I know.
I would definitely sit on my counter and eat the Nutella. So let me speak on that for a moment
Yeah.
because what I just mentioned is a little bit more advanced once you learn this and embody it.
Mhm.
So I'll go two parts here. I'm working with a 14-year-old right now around anxiety, and we're starting to get familiar with what is she telling herself before she feels anxious? How is she feeling it in her body? Become aware of the sensations of where it shows up. Okay, how do you feel when you're calm? Can you invite some of those emotions, some of those sensations into your body? It's not about getting rid of the emotion because emotions are information, right? They're information, they're truths. They're things, not facts, it's what you're telling yourself something means. So I paired the awareness with a physical action. For her, I'm like the moment you hear the thought or you already have felt anxiety, it's like, okay, what did I just say to myself or what just happened? And then we reframe it. Like for her, I suggested snap down in your body or shift out your body or dance it out, some sort of physical action. A client of mine was saying, okay, so if she's in the bed and she's like, okay, she sees the alarm clock go off and she wants to get out of bed. She's like, okay, can I just tell myself like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? I'm like, no, you've already been fighting with your mind. It hasn't worked up until now. We need to add a physical component. Use your hands. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Use your physical hands. Hit your feet on the bed. Push your hands up in the air. Whatever you have to do, but you have to combine the physical with the mental because the mental, unless you've already programmed your mind to be able to do on demand those changes, you have to add that physical sensation into your body. So recently on Mother's Day, actually, I was feeling really activated. And I was like, I don't like this feeling because this is familiar from what I remember is a typical feeling that I would allow to ruin my day. It kind of washed over me like a heavy blanket, and I was like, this is not ideal. And it's not that I didn't numb it down. I didn't, I don't drink alcohol. I didn't go eat food. I didn't go to the gym just to rush off this feeling. I sat with it. I became aware of it. Okay, what story am I telling myself right now that is causing me to feel this way? Because I must be making some sort of meaning about this situation. I was like, oh, I'm like, I don't want to have to plan my Mother's Day. I want to feel loved and cherished and appreciated. And I don't want to have to tell someone how to appreciate me. My son is 12. Like, I can't really expect a 12-year-old to know how to do it unless I teach him because I'm a single mom. But in that moment, I'm like, this isn't fair. I don't want to have to do that, but I want to be showered with love. And so I was caught between this like dichotomy of wanting to experience something, but not wanting to be the one to teach it. And I felt really hurt. I felt really hurt. I felt really upset. And so you know what I did? I put on my sunglasses. I sat in the parking lot of the gym because I knew I was going to go work out my body. That's a gift I gives myself every day. But I didn't want to just work off this feeling. I wanted to feel it and notice it so I could actually move through it. So I put on my sunglasses because wherever I park, usually people are always leaving at the same time as I'm sitting in my car. And it's just a funny thing that happens. So I put on my sunglasses and I just have a full cry. I just have a full cry, a full body cry, my belly, everything. And then after I had a deep breath and I let it go, I'm like, okay, how do you want to feel now, Cass? I'm like, I want to have a great day. So I traded my expectations for appreciation. I searched for the things that I could appreciate today. Well, fuck, I'm a mom. I mean, that's enough. I get to have the gift of being a mother, and I still have my mother who is alive. I didn't numb it out. I didn't run away from it. I wasn't afraid of the feelings and sensations. And that's a big thing that people have to be willing to do is to sit with the feelings and be willing to feel them without projecting them, numbing them out, and running from them. And then I carried on with the day, had a solid workout, and had a really great day. But if I didn't take that time to allow myself to cry, to become aware of the story I was telling myself, and then ask myself, how would I like to feel instead and shift it? I could have ruined the whole day and then I could have blamed everybody else.
Thank you for sharing that story. It's, I think, a beautiful example. And again, this is probably not any news to anybody's ears. They probably see themselves in your story. You know, I like to say it's a different story, different character, same story, same scenario, anyways, of this. I see it as grief, this
Yeah.
deep rooted grief that many women carry, speaking mainly to women here, of feeling as though they have to hold it all together. They have to do it all. And I'm going to add here alone.
Hmm.
And even if you're in partnership, this comes up. Why am I the one to organize everything, to plan birthday parties, to plan my own outings? When is it my turn to finally, whatever it is that you want, sit back, relax, go on that vacation that you've always wanted to go to? It's like, why is it all on me? And that's a big one with big roots. But what you shared is, I think, really important to highlight for everybody listening is Cass did not run away from what was arising. She was in her truth. And her truth in that moment was, maybe, I'm not paraphrasing here, maybe feel like fucking shit right now. I'm angry, whatever, whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
Let it run its course.
Yeah.
That's energy. It's raw energy. Not bypassing it with, I'm all appreciative all the time. Because we see that too in a lot of people.
Toxic
Just,
positivity.
right? It's like, acknowledge, but then don't allow that, as you mentioned, the heavy blanket to weigh down your whole day.
Hmm.
Right? So then it's like, and it's beautiful because once you allow that emotion to run its course, again, the only way I could experience this is as the all knowing of the heart. And once you're in the heart, beauty comes back into your life, appreciation, gratitude. It's natural, it naturally flows out. Versus if you're stuck in the raw emotion itself and don't let it breathe, you will start, as you mentioning, oftentimes projecting this
Hmm.
resentment, anger, onto your kid or your husband, or unfortunately the people closest to you. And worst of all, to yourself. I shouldn't be feeling this way. I should be grateful. We're putting random expectations and pressures on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful um chance to become aware of everything. A very life-changing book is called The Surrender Experiment. I absolutely love it. I just finished listening to it. And like you said, I should be feeling this way. Who says? Who says I should be feeling a certain way? I feel this way. And so I'm going to allow myself to go through the emotions and uncover why it is that I'm feeling this way. I will be honest, I used to project hardcore. I used to get angry. I would break stuff. I would freak out. I felt like I had bipolar. I went from 0 to 100 really fast. I did not know myself. I didn't know I was an empath. Didn't know I was highly sensitive. Didn't know that I was ADHD. None of that. And so when I got to know myself and came home back to myself and started to connect with my body, the sensations that you feel in your body. Oh, what does this usually mean? Oh, I'm probably telling myself something right now that's causing me to feel anxiety. Anxiety is not happening to me. I'm creating it in my body because of what I'm telling myself. I can tell myself something else. And so that's a whole other topic. Getting the diagnoses of, you're chronically depressed, you're gonna have that forever. You're anxious, you're gonna have that forever. Fuck that. I mean, sorry, but no thanks. I will not accept that. I will not accept that because I want to know how I can use my mind to empower me to live a happy, free, calm life. And it doesn't have to be that way. And I will not accept that. And I didn't. I did for a little while because I was younger and I didn't know any better. And I have so much compassion for people who are struggling. Trust me, I'm not a stranger to that. And I also know that there is another way. And I'm not saying to just, reject the diagnoses that a doctor gives you. All I'm saying is get to know yourself. And I mean, you and I, Sophia, could have many conversations with people around this. Um, yes, I tread lightly on said topic.
Yeah, no, but it's beautiful. And, you know, I was asked once, Sophia, how do I get to know myself? And that for me was a like break open moment, an aha of like, fuck, there are people out there that don't think they have the time or the energy, the capacity to get to themselves, and they've gone so far from their truth, and
Hmm.
they've put so many masks on that they don't know who they are, right? It's and this is where I'm going to add here, because you mentioned the labeling and the diagnoses. This is another slippery slope, right? Sure, you want to do the test. I can tell you right now, 99% of people are ADHD. I'm ADHD, you're ADHD. The question is, will you identify with your diagnosis and take it as a blanket and become a victim,
Hmm.
right? And actually use it to not do the things that you really want to create, perhaps? Or are you going to, maybe as Cass seems to have done in her case, is okay, receive it, see what you want to do with it.
Hmm.
If you don't want to accept it, or basically you accept the reality that everybody HAG nowadays, and then you choose how do you want to utilize this gift.
Yeah.
So this is the difference between somebody that maybe you would see it as a negative announcement and somebody that sees the opportunity in it, right?
Yes.
So let's speak like maybe a more on a practical level for people listening. Maybe people listening got the diagnosis for themselves or their kids. I know a few of my listeners have either their kids or themselves that have been diagnosed. Yay, you're ADHD, clap your hands. Or you have dyslexia or something, what is the word? Neurodivergent, right? For me, it's a soul that's trying to reorient and become embodied and land. That's it. But let's go with the terms.
Yes.
What would you offer as a starting ground for women or men listening?
I would write out everything you feel like you've been told and have accepted to be true for yourself about the diagnosis. And if there's anything limiting on that, scratch it out and essentially say, fuck that. I'm not willing to accept that to be true. Like you said, it's all about getting to know yourself. I know the pros and cons, not even pros and cons about myself, but I know my strengths and weaknesses. Like when I interviewed you on my podcast, I couldn't even pronounce a single word, and I don't care because I'm not embarrassed by that anymore. In the past, sure, but I know who I am, and I'm very rooted and grounded in who I am. The biggest thing, if you have received a diagnosis or you're curious and want to get one, I would say just don't bother. Don't waste your money. If you think you are, then just accept that maybe you are, and who cares? Get to know yourself. Ask yourself, what are the fun quirks about me? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? Do I care to put in the time to change my weaknesses, or am I just going to amplify on my strengths? Am
Hmm.
I good at reading? No. Okay. Do I have ears that can take in information and learn fast? Yes. Okay. Audiobook it is. Am I good at spelling? No. Doesn't matter. Not really. I mean, honestly, am I often late? Yes. What can I do about it? I don't know. Ask for help and support. Set some more timers. I'm not embarrassed to admit I have like 37 timers every day and I'm still usually late. You know what? I'm not for everybody. You're not going to be for everybody. Get to know yourself, love yourself, and do not ever put limitations on yourself and especially your children, not your place. That's a huge disservice that you're doing to say that your child has a disability. And then what? Oh, you're going to have a hard time reading and learning and getting grades. You're going to be slow. You're going to struggle. Fuck that. Okay, so any negative thing that you have put on yourself or others, take it off. And then tell your kids, you know what? I made a huge mistake. I made a mistake. And this is how I want to repair it. From now on, this diagnosis that you have, it's really just you have a friggin' amazing personality and you have weaknesses just as everybody on the planet. You have strengths just as everybody on the planet. Let's get to know ourselves and work together.
And
Like,
be in the right places.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
This is
You
this
don't
is
have to
a
continue to struggle in the wrong environments that you're not meant to be in. Again, it's all information.
yeah. Yeah, I've heard this too many times for of parents with kids that are dyslexic or have, are gifted, but not in the gifted sense in this educational society that says you're gifted, you learn so quickly. No, that are gifted in another sense. Maybe they're
Hmm.
ADHD, maybe they have dyslexia. They're gifted in clairvoyance, who knows? And just having like they don't want to go to school. There's a deep fear because they get bullied.
Hmm.
Do you know how many times women came to me? My kids are being bullied. They're like 8, 11,
Yeah,
12. My
it's
kid is suicidal. Like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
there's something
terrifying.
terrifying about the way, like, our education system is, also parenting. Like, this is not only about the system itself of
Hmm.
education, but
Yes.
there's a big role right now in parents just clean your shit up, own your
Yes.
shit, right? And teach your kids that it's okay to have emotions. It's okay to be different or whatever, just to be unique, to be yourself and be the role model, right?
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to put pressure on only the parents, as even if you're not a parent of a
Starts
physical
with
child.
us, though. It starts whatever you're displaying and showing and acting and saying to yourself internally and externally, your kids are taking that on.
Hmm.
Teach your kids about their internal voice. Ask them, what is your voice saying to you right now? Okay. And if it's not saying good things, where is that coming from? Is it from the music they're listening to, from social media? Is it from their influences around them? I tell my son, be very, very, very careful to the music you listen to because it is going directly into your unconscious mind. And when you pair it with emotions by singing it, it goes in as truth. If parents were to teach, not only just teach, but to embody it first, you have to go first. It is not selfish. It's selfish not to, honestly. If you don't work on yourself and you're trying to get your kids to fix themselves and you're not doing the work, I don't want to say shame on you, but honestly,
It's
and
hypocrite.
ugh, it's so sad because you see a lot of people pointing the finger at their kids like they don't know how to control their emotions. They're not listening. I just saw you freak out and blow up on them. And now they're shutting down and they're getting in trouble. And now you're going to go into this state of feeling shameful about your behaviors and then the kids are going to come to you and apologize. Now they're being the parentified child because now they're coming to console you. That is not fair. It's time to end the cycles. Trust me, I only know this because I went through it. I was that parent. Okay? Eh. And so I'm offering so much compassion because everybody does the best that they can, but now that you know better, do better. And get out of this victim mentality of I'm so sad or whatever it is. You can change and change by feeling in your body and make continuing to listen to these kind of podcasts, but then do something about it. Listening to it is only half the battle. Actually doing something about it, having the courage to do it is another thing. Work with Sophia, reach out to me, work with me. Like we have the tools to help you.
Mhm.
You know, we're here to raise the vibrations of the planet and help people, help to end suffering and help people live happy and fulfilled lives. I know I go off on tangents. I'm very passionate about this, but I'm sick and tired of suffering. It doesn't have to be that way.
And I'll add here, I always love to add these random curveballs. This is again, everything I share is about what I've experienced. And you can't force somebody to heal.
Mm-mm.
There's a there's like you cannot, I'm gonna go to say this, you cannot rob them of their own journey. This is very hard. I don't know for me, I don't know about for you, but especially for like, you've been through a journey and you may be seeing somebody that may be slipping down a similar journey you went on, and then the savior complex comes in, you're like, oh my gosh, like take this rope, I'll pull you out. And maybe you have to. And I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes exhausting, and I realize, holy fuck, that's tied to my worthiness as a guide, as a mentor, as a coach. Holy fuck. So what I want to share here is just, yes, reach out for support, but there's a big part of the journey that you have to do alone. Cass could give you some tools and methodologies and hypnosis. I can give you some tools, some tantric practices. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to be flailing your arms here and letting you, like, shaking you, right? I
You
like
have
to
to
see
do
it as
it.
this like walking side by side. I'm not pulling you forward or pushing you from the back. So I think that's where one has to have the inner fire lit up. Like that's why anger, I say, is like number one catalyst. Let's work with it. Yes.
Yeah, fucking done. Enough is enough. Are you kidding? Something has to change now.
Yes. And I think we're there. That's why there's a lot of like, maybe you're a woman listening to this and you're like, fuck yeah, Cass and Sophia, I'm angry as fuck. I'm gonna use this
Yeah, let's go.
constructively. So
Yes.
that's great. And even if you don't demonstrate anger, it's, you know, having a fire lit is also reconnecting, well, to that. You mentioned that vision board. Like, I think that
Hmm.
could be a beautiful gateway in for some. And I believe you have a workshop coming up May 31st, right?
Yes, May 31st in Ottawa. It's in Canada.
Mm-hmm.
It's an amazing opportunity because a lot of people come in for all sorts of reasons. Many people are looking for clarity. I even had one woman, she was so upset because she didn't have anything on her board. And she created a meeting about what that was. And just having it after having a short conversation, she walked out and her vision board was full. And it's a beautiful experience, especially because you get to do it along other people on different paths of their journey. And so, yes, you can go to casshenry.com/life by design. And casshenry.com, I have a lot of different resources there. I have my podcast as well. To your point that you can't change people. You and I, we don't change people. We are the guides. We're very good guides. But I can't go into your head and make you think different things. I can't shake your body out unless I physically touch you, but I don't do that. We don't do that. We're guides to help you lead you back. something that is very common that people do is once they start to uncover this kind of stuff, they notice in other people the things that they could really benefit from working on. That's projecting, first off. Second off, never tell someone that they should. I always come at it from, can I offer you a reframe? Can I offer you a tool? Can I offer you a suggestion? It's always can I. I'll never insert myself to make someone see a different way of seeing unless they want to. Otherwise, they'll reject it fully. We're all on our own journeys, and like you said, I would never want to rob someone of their lessons because it's all part of where they're meant to go and who they're meant to become. And so if this episode lit you up in some sort of way, if it triggered you in some sort of way, great. Ask yourself why. What did I say or what did Sophia say that triggered you? Do you feel like it's true for you then? Do you like feeling that way? Is that something you want to keep as a belief? It's all information.
Mm-hmm.
Do with it what you want.
I love it. Ah, I love this. So many rabbit holes we can dive into.
Oh my gosh, I know we could be there
Ah,
forever.
so many. I think people get lost the big way. This is too much.
Yeah, calm down. I
But
used
it's
to
all
think I
good.
was too much, but
Yeah,
I'm just enough for the right people. So
exactly. You're
yeah,
exactly what they need. You know,
yeah.
some people they need like maybe you're the fire for some people so that they remember that they have their own fire and then they're off. You know, there's a and maybe you're in some moments the grounding hearth, the place, the stability, the place that if somebody's really wired, they come down, okay, stabilize, and then they go off.
Hmm.
But again, I'm maybe speaking more to practitioners here or guides of like the importance and also of parents, especially like the importance of you and your responsibility to your own inner landscape is like it's not a luxury. Like it's a
No,
necessity,
it's
especially
mandatory.
yeah, especially for lots of new babies coming in right now are highly emotionally aware
Hmm.
and they could pick up on bullshit real quick. So, you know, new moms out there, new dads, or just, yeah, just be in the places and choose the practices that really supports you in releasing what's not yours, any heavy energy, coming back to the truth in the moment, coming back to your heart and choosing to respond in a way that feels mm, that is for the greater good.
Hmm.
So I'd love for you to offer if there's anything that you feel you'd like to share, maybe a tangible step people can make or take as they tune out of this podcast and step back into their mundane everyday life.
Well, if you can create a life that's not so mundane, that would be a beautiful gift to the self. I never know what day it is. Something that I would suggest for every single human on the planet is to find the place where you hear your voice, where you can connect deep within yourself. And that doesn't have to be on a meditation pillow, it doesn't have to be in silence in the woods. I hear my voice most often when I'm driving or when I'm sitting in the shower. And so I invite you to find wherever that is for you. Maybe that's gardening, maybe it's sitting by the water, maybe it's going for a walk. Find out where you can connect with you and build up the courage to ask the questions that will lead you forward to the truth of who you are and back to yourself. And have the courage to take action on what your voice is telling you to do because you have all the answers within you. It's just that you need to build the courage to take that action.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, create your safe space,
Hmm.
space where you can drop in. It's again the foundational practice I offer as well. It's just, you know, you want to get to know yourself? Well, carve out the intentional space. It doesn't need to be elaborate, it doesn't need to be long. As Cass said, you could be driving. Although, like, be mindful of the road as well. For me, it's walk in nature and my bath.
Yeah.
Mostly my bath. That's why I do my
Like,
own
I'm gonna go sit in my shower now. I gotta receive some answers.
water element. Just like,
Yes, I
oh.
just gotta let go for a minute. Ah, yes, so good.
Yeah,
Yes.
beautiful. Okay, and if people want to get a hold of you, they want to work with you, they're like, oh my gosh, I want Cass in my life. Where can they find you
Yeah.
and what's coming up the pipeline for them?
Yeah. So, I mean, I would love to see everybody at the workshop. May 31st, casshenry.com/life by design. I'll give you all the links, Sophia. I'm on Instagram at underscore Cass Henry. If you go to casshenry.com is where I have all the links. I do a free monthly meetup. I have a ton of freebies for connecting back with yourself. Reach out to me. Let me know that you listened to this episode. What did you like? What did you not like? What lit you up in your soul? And I feel like this isn't the end for Sophia and I. I'm sure we'll do some sort of collab together in the future. So come out to that. I already saw it on the future timeline, so apparently it's already done.
Beautiful. Thank you for being here, Cass.
Thank you for having me. Sending you all so much love.